Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be an interesting video because I'm going to be talking about my first impressions of Angry Birds 2. So that's a sequel from Angry Birds, and even though people actually didn't like Angry Birds movie because I don't know if there was any movie based off of the game that actually did well, but I actually loved Angry Birds, the movie, and I don't know, nobody can even change my mind about it. I loved the storyline, I loved the animations, I loved the jokes, I loved everything about it. And I didn't know there was a sequel until this year and I just saw that there was Angry Birds 2 and I was like, oh, okay, sequels are just like predestined to be bad, but I have high hopes for this. Let's just say it didn't go according to my expectations. The storyline was just really messy and there were just a lot of things happening at once, and I just felt like there were some things that were misplaced, there's some things that should have been minused, and some things that should have been added that weren't. And it's just a mess, and I'm kind of sad because I actually really like Angry Birds, and the sequel was a mess, a total mess. Okay, so let me talk about, first of all, the plot or the story. I'll try as hard as I can to concise it because actually there was a lot of things happening. So first of all, it starts with Red. Remember Red, a hero who saved the eggs and brought them back to their parents, and now everybody sings his praises because he's the hero now against the pigs, who are still their enemies. And now they engage in prank wars. Who Red is like the sole leader of the defense and attack from the Bird Island, and the pig king, I don't even remember his name, and after the sequel I don't want to bother checking for it. He is a leader for what's it called again, the Pig Island. So they eggs and tissue paper kind of pranks. I was just kind of surprised this was where they were starting it from, but okay, let's continue. And all of a sudden there was a big gigantic what's it called again, ice ball, right? Yeah, that destroyed some parts of Pig Island, and the Pig King decided to call a truce with Bird Island, and it seemed like Red didn't have a purpose anymore because his sole purpose was to be the hero of Bird Island against the Pig Island. But now he has no idea what he wants, and doesn't really have a life other than being a hero. So his friends decide this will be a great time to go speed dating, and it cuts to the awkward cue of him being uninterested in every single girl, and the one girl that was kind of weird, we already kind of know that she is going to be his future love interest, but she was like quirky, smart. I mean, I guess it's kind of the same strong-willed, independent, smart, intelligent woman of this millennia. Okay, great, we got it. So she's like a nerd. She invented one rope that is going to be relevant later. It's kind of like pretty strong, but apparently not strong enough because I'm cutting too ahead of myself. So Red rejected her and she made some comments which made him question his life purpose, but let's forget about that. So I kind of can't remember anything else that happened, but I do know that the pig and the birds decide to team up to find out who was shooting out these ice balls and destroying Bird Island and Pig Island. And they finally found out that there's other islands in their universe, and that's Eagle Island, which is ice. Like, it didn't make any sense if it was like a tropical. If it was even a forest, I'm not say tropical. I'm not really sure where eagles stay. I mean, mountains, I guess, or high places. If it was an island made of mountains, it would have made way more sense than island that was literally where polar bears are supposed to, live. I think they should have been a polar bear island because it's basically ice. So we have the antagonist who is a purple eagle who sounds like, every single, I'm not like every other girl, strong, independent, willed, millennial lady, those kind of women. And she had a servant, which aka is actually her daughter, so there's that, though she treats her like a slave. And everything's made of ice, the bed, the floor, the shoes, maybe her heart, everything is made of ice. And basically she's trying to destroy the bird and pig island, which at first did not make any sense whatsoever. And we will finally know the ending of the whole debacle because it's crazy, really crazy. So she's shooting ice balls and destroying the sea. We don't know why. I'll get into that later. See how we just getting to the end, because kind of that the ending is what makes kind of sense out of nonsense, but the ending still doesn't make any sense. Okay, so she decided to invent an ice ball that contains lava inside it. So there's that. And so let's go back to the birds and the pigs, shall we? So they kind of convene with, Mighty Eagle, and they decide he should be in their team. So it's like red and yellow and bomb. Notice how I don't even try to remember their names. Is it Chuck? I think it's Chuck. So red and Chuck and bomb, and Chuck's sister, the weird nerdy love interest of red. And we have the pig king, his assistant, who I thought was his daughter or something, and the tech guy who makes gadgets. And I'm going to say the gadgets are pretty funny, especially the one that literally tells you when an eagle is nearby by saying there's an eagle nearby, like that's actually my favorite gadget out of all the gadgets. So that's the team, and plus Mighty Eagles. And so when they found out that they're going to Eagle Island, then Mighty Eagle is like stressed about it, and we have no idea why. When they eventually get to Eagle Island, he decides to take off. And this is my problem. This story would make a lot of sense if it was centered on Mighty Eagle, because it's actually what the story is about. It would make way more sense, because how come an eagle is like a bird island and like there's no origin story, we don't know where he's from, who's his parents, where did he come from, nothing. We just know that he's Mighty Eagle, which would have been pretty cool if they kind of stuck to that story, but they were just jumping from one story to another. So basically Chuck and Bomb and the pig king and his assistant pig and his tech gadget pig decide it would be a great idea to dress up like an eagle and fool the eagle guards, which they successfully do. That's how these kind of movies go. So but Red decides that his idea is better, or rather he wants to break in and wants to be the hero. He doesn't want to share the glory, and the nerdy girl decides to follow him because that's kind of what they're expecting. So she follows him and starts saying some more motivational stuff, questioning Red's entire life purpose. And I gotta say, she's pretty nosy. Like I know, I get it, Red is a complicated character and he just suffers from a lot of insecurities, but what's the point of bringing them up in a really important mission? Life and death, who cares about those kind of things? So Red tries to jump into the hole, and they forget to latch the hook to something, so she has to jump in and save him. And you know, Red is trying to prove that he actually doesn't need her help, and actually in the end he does need her help, and he finds a plug, or he thinks he finds a plug to the giant volcano machine that shoots lava ice balls. I really wish I was making this up, but I'm not. And he closes down and plugs it, and he finds out that, oh wait, it's the plug to a microwave. So they get caught. So now let's go back to what's it called again? Those other people who are dressed up as an eagle, and you know, they completely fool him. And I gotta say, when they were trying to get the key card to enter the door, that part in the bathroom of them trying to grab it and stuff, I think that was part of one of my favorites because it was so graphic. Like, I've never seen, I mean, of course I've seen worse, but that was pretty graphic and quite funny. So I'll give them 0.5 of a star. No, 1/5 of a star, yeah, for that. So, you know, progress. So where was I? This story is so complicated. You can see how I'm literally just like jumping from one place to another because I kind of just want to give you my real first impressions without actually like analyzing. I'm not analyzing, because if I was analyzing, my thoughts would be really more concise. So basically, they caught those Red and the quirky girl, and they put them on ice. They put them on ice. I'm not sure. I'm sure that's slang for something. Maybe actually kind of just put their limbs in an like. How would I put it? So it's an inflatable float for a swimming pool, but like there are holes for their hands, and like there's ice, so like they're stuck there. You know what? Visual representation is so much better than my my vocal. So yeah, then at the end they found out that, oh, Red just realizes that he just wants to be a hero, and he realizes he can't do it on his own, and you know, life lesson learned. So now let's go to the villain, because I kind of almost forgot about her. So long story short, Mighty Eagle comes. I forgot what his part was, but he came, and we finally have a backstory, which would make so much sense if Mighty Eagle actually like was in this movie. He kind of just took off immediately entered Eagle Island. So basically Mighty Eagle and the villain eagle, purple villain eagle, were, you know, in love with each other, and you know, it seemed like she was a bit, what's the word, clingy and too you know, out there, and he was feeling a bit suffocated. So she was suffocating with her love, sorry. And she even proposed to him with a gigantic diamond ring. I think it was diamond. And, you know, when it was time for their marriage, he left her at the altar. But plot twist, that daughter of hers is his daughter. So, what? They were literally in high school, like, in love, and then all of a sudden she proposed to him, and they were about to get married, and she was already pregnant? What? Okay, so that was crazy. So Mighty Eagle has a whole family he didn't know about, and the daughter was like, you know, surprised and stuff. The daughter that we actually, you know, thought that she was her slave. Pretty good. And she made a comment about like how she's been a single mom raising her on her own, and you know, and then she finally revealed why she's trying to destroy Big Island and Bird Island, because she's trying to create a paradise and like a circus. Sorry, I said a circus. A road. I have no words. She's trying to create, what is that word? You know, that machine that goes wee, wow, woo. That's not the sound of the machine. That's the sound of the people. Why can I not remember this? Anyway, insert picture of what I'm talking about right here. So, and people were like, oh, it's a monster, but I actually thought that was pretty cool. I mean, if you want to make it a paradise, I mean, I'm sure it would be pretty cool to always be writing it all the time. And the reason why she's doing it is because she wants to put herself first. My brain hurts. Okay. So that was a lot. And she decided to finally fire those lava ice balls, and they had a plan where they were going to get the lever to put a ramp so that the bird Red and the quirky girl who's in the ice ball can jump in and enter the volcano itself to destroy the stuff, the volcano machine. This is hard. And they missed naturally, but then there was a rope that the rope that I told you that came in handy that cannot break, but it broke. But who came to save the day? Some hatchlings who we've been following their story for quite a while, and I completely forgot about them. So basically there were 3 puffballs who were pretending to be Red and the villain, and they were playing with their baby, one of the puffballs kids. I literally thought that was how small they get, but they're even smaller. They're literally like a puff, like a puffle, like club penguin puffle. So they lose the eggs and they go on a wacky adventure to get it back. And when they finally get it back, they kind of, I don't know, they kill the snake, or they alluded to the fact that they killed the snake, but the snake came back bandaged. So I guess animal cruelty or something. So basically those hatchlings, those puffballs, the big puffballs, not the small puffballs with the eggs, the big puffballs managed to grab the ends of the rope. I don't know how they found them, I don't know how they figured out what was happening, but they grabbed it so that the rope was holding the lava balls that were already projected out. So the force brought them back down to the volcano machine, and it just exploded. Wow, I am so getting visual representation of this. Hopefully not too much, that will get demonetized. And then my thoughts of this movie, obviously from how I'm explaining it should kind of give you an idea that it was like a fever dream experience. I don't know if it was too bad, but I decided not to watch any Angry Bird 2 review of it, but I'm pretty confident when I say that this was not good. So I would give it, maybe out of 10, I would give it a 4.2 because I love the visuals, and I just loved their character, I loved their design, I loved themselves, the character, but the story threw the whole thing off, and it's kind of sad because I would give the Angry Birds, the original Angry Birds, I would give it like a 7.58. I love that. I loved it. I'll give it an 8. Fine. It was maybe an 8.5. But this, some things that they could just improve if they could redo this movie. Make Mighty Eagle the center of this, because his story was pretty intriguing. The fact that he was in love and he abandoned her in the altar and those kind of things. If he was following them, and we could see him kind of freaking out about coming to his ex's place, and but he literally was just there for 5 minutes of the whole movie, which is kind of sad. And he is actually the main drive, the main purpose. And it would be cool to see how he actually saved Bird Island from why is he Mighty Eagle, why was he coined that term? What did he save the birds, those birds from? And how did he end up not getting, he was in shape before and then he wasn't in shape. So what what happened there. That would have been pretty interesting if we got a backstory of, you know, how he saved Bird Island and then he stopped, and then now we get a backstory of what happened in his past and how he escaped, and all those kind of things. And if they also made Eagle Island kind of more of like as if it was Bird Island with family and friends and activities and everything going on, but it was kind of just like an evil lair instead of like an actual island. Or maybe that's just part of the island, I'm not sure, but there's literally a gigantic volcano which was the center of the whole plot, or let's say half of the plot, which kind of sucked. I was just kind of disappointed because I liked the Mighty Eagle storyline better than the whole. And also Red finding himself was another good storyline too. The prank wars were meh. I mean, I can do without them, but if they just focus on those three and not, you know, overextend the whole love interest thing with Red and the girl, and like everything would have been so much better. So, you know, these are my thoughts. Sorry, this is going to be a longer video than usual, but I, you know, don't have anybody to talk to about this, so here we are. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Bye.